Hi, Stitchers. Welcome to Tatreez Talk, where we share conversations about Palestinian embroidery. I'm Amani, here with my co-host Lina, chatting with talented embroiderers and artists, sharing their stories, inspirations, and the cultural significance behind their work.
On today's episode, we're chatting with Lama, a Tatreez artist who has been practicing the art for over 30 years. Lama, we're so glad to have you here with us. Welcome to Tatreez Talk.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be with you both here. I'm so excited to be. My daughter was speaking and talking a lot of, and she got inspired from you. So I hope I'm going to add something.
Oh, definitely. We're sure about it.
Yeah, her daughter Wafat is a complete sweetheart. So we've definitely loved chatting with her. You did a good job with her. And I'm sure that you will have a lot to contribute. We're very, very excited to have the conversation with you. Obviously, Lena and I have seen your beautiful work, so we can't wait to show it off and talk more about it. But before we jump into that, we want to start by asking you to tell us a little bit about you and your family's connection to Palestine.
Well, I was born I was born in Kuwait and was raised the Gulf War. Then we moved to Jordan, and from there we moved out to Canada. My family, from my dad's side, we're from Hebron, and from my mom's side, she's from Haifa. She's from the village Tantura herself. And she spoke a lot about it. And I was lucky to take my kids in 2018 there to visit and swim in the beach there and take pictures to my mom at that time.
Wow.
Yeah, it was meaningful. So we've been always connected. I was lucky, although we were in Kuwait, but we spent most of our summers during the summer. We used to have almost 4 months of summer when we were in Kuwait. When we were kids, we spent it all in Palestine. At that time, it was called the Cold War. That everything was open, so we were lucky to move freely and go everywhere. And that taught us a lot by connecting to our land, to love our homeland, to be connected with my grandparents' home and have a lot of memories that built there. So it was very meaningful, and I was lucky to stay visiting there till the Intifada, the first Intifada, and then after that, it started to be hard to go visit as it used to be or more often. Yeah.
Did you have a Palestinian Hawiyya, or how did that work?
No. And maybe that was, honestly, we were lucky we didn't have it.
Yeah.
As my dad, they spent most of his years of life, he's still alive, but he gave up looking to get this Hawiyya. But maybe we're lucky we didn't, because when I went on 2018 with my kids and my husband didn't have it. My husband from Gaza. And he's from Rice. So we're lucky that we were able to stay in Jerusalem and move freely, going to the West Bank, going to the north of Palestine, and go everywhere. If we had the idea of Palestine, we couldn't do that.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate truth.
Yeah.
I know I have friends and even some cousins that have to deal with that trade-off.
Yeah. But it was a very lovely and important for the kids. I think they got connected with Palestine as we were, and always we are now, because of this trip.
Yeah.
I think everyone should go.
Oh, I know, inshallah.
Absolutely.
It's still on my list. Lena and I are trying to figure that out.
Yeah, I hope you all can go.
Inshallah.
Different. Yeah.
Inshallah. Well, Lama, can you walk us a little bit about your personal journey with Tatreez? When did Tatreez first become a part of your life?
Okay. I started to do a Tatreez when I was 14, almost 15 years old. It started, I always been interested with art. My mom loves art and she taught me to do a lot of things. But with my older sister, because she's into art as well, she started to do Tatreez with the cross stitch, the regular ones, and it was the plastic circle ones, the symbol, those the beginners, the first beginners. So it was very nice, and I did a few of those to start with, to learn how to count and to do what copy exactly the picture. And from there, when we moved to Jordan, it started again with my older sister, that she started to go and looked for, okay, I want to do some Palestinian, and we start to be more connected. So she got a nice book and started to have the fabric, the ottoman we call fabric, and the threads. And she started to do the design. And from that time, I picked it from her. And it's like I started to learn how to count. And I did many pieces. I left them till today at my parents' home. It was part also from keeping my identity, because I'm far, we're so connected, but this is what we can tell, what we can say. I found it kind of resistance of, I have this and I want to talk about it always. And luckily that it was worked very well, because I moved it to my daughter now. She's interested. She didn't do yet Tatreez, but she's interested to learn and to do these things. But I found it as well, it's kind of therapy for me. I love it because it's relaxing. And when I'm sitting on the piece, I imagine immediately what I want to do with it. It's like, which is nice, yeah.
You're very much like a visual designer, in the sense that you like look at pieces. You don't build out patterns, right? You kind of just stitch.
Yes. Yeah, no, I don't, I'm not good at to design it at the beginning, then I move it on the fabric. When I look at the fabric, I immediately imagine, okay, this is how I like it, and this is the theme I want to work on. And I start immediately.
That is so impressive.
That is so impressive.
Mashallah, that's so impressive.
I don't know, but I think it used to be like that.
Oh yeah.
Now
we're spoiled. We're spoiled.
Yes, you're advanced. No, I mean you're advanced because you're doing it. I think it's better because you're documenting what you're working on slowly. Maybe from my side, it's like I'm learning the old style, so it's mostly that. Oh, okay, this is how we're doing it, and it goes with passion. And that's it.
Yeah, no, I think there's definitely room for both, but I think it is important that it's a very impressive skill to just be able to look at fabric and get an inspiration for your story and then be able to just to stitch that. So I think it's still very, very valuable. So like bravo aleki, that's extremely impressive. And you know, just to not to go too like diverge too far, but because you did mention, like, you look at these pieces, you kind of think of like a theme. How does that come to you? Like, what's that process like?
Okay. So let's start with pieces, with what I've done to you. I did actually, but I stopped during it, the wedding, Palestinian wedding. And I want to do it a little bit different, with colors and cheerful. So I finished most of it, but it's like I didn't complete the written part because I didn't want it to be the way it is. And I want something different. And it stopped me for years. I didn't go back for it. Actually, this morning I was looking at it and it's like, okay, I know what I want to write on it now.
Now it came to you.
Yeah. So, for example, one of the pieces that I did, the one with the squares, which is different, and I think Wafa sent you a picture for it.
Yes.
That was a gift for my brother-in-law wedding. And because I liked him, so I I did it for him because But it's inspired me that I want something from everywhere in Palestine. So it's a little bit piece from here and there about each city or village, talking about or present Palestine, because each area has a different pattern and different theme. So I try to manage to put it all together. For my other one, and I used to like to do something a little bit different, that I did embroidery on the blue fabric.
Ooh,
And
nice.
that was inspired me that I want to have something with the trees, but also with the grapevine, and add this to give it a theme of the grapes. It's connected with our land, and so yeah, I look at it and I feel, oh, this fabric can work with it, this colors, and I know where exactly. I have now a piece that I got it. It's a totally green, but I picked the colors. And actually, I'm doing with my sister. I'm competitive because we bought the same fabric, same size, same colors. And I told her, you do it your own design, I'll do my own design, and we'll see which one is going to be better at the end.
Wait, I love that, and I can't wait to see them.
Yeah. So we didn't start it yet, but we will soon. It's like we got the fabrics, and that was a few months ago. So yeah.
That's
So
cute. I love that.
that's how we look at it. It's like which piece? Maybe when you ask me of the pieces, I will tell you exactly what it's inspired me of.
No, definitely. And I just one more question too, because one of the things that you were talking about was that you like to have pieces of all of Palestine, and so you'll kind of intertwine the different motifs together, which I love, and I think that speaks very much to post 1948 and how we approach Tatreez today.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, like, are there certain areas, like certain motifs that you are more drawn to? Like, I know obviously like where your family might be from, or specific
Honestly,
areas based on the designs.
thank you for asking this question. I'm going to show you even the book that it's my guidance. I love this book, and it's since I started, I have it, and I'm sure it's famous. Everyone knows this book.
Love that book.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
like, I'm
this
looking
is
at it
very
right now.
old, but that's a book that helped me to start my Tatreez. The best Tatreez I found it as a design. It's Gaza designs. Honestly, it comes after Ramallah and Yafa equally to me. But Gaza, I found it, they have amazing designs, and the colors they're adding it, the mix,
The colors.
Yeah.
the blue and red, and you don't see it on other Tatreez, which is,
Yeah.
I found it is smart to add them. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I can agree. I am very drawn to motifs from Gaza and from El Khalil too. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm very drawn to the designs from both regions, and I love vibrant colors. I've seen in your designs you also use
Yeah.
vibrant colors,
This is
and that's
this is
very
even
Gaza.
from from my mom. My grandma
Yeah,
didn't wear it, but yeah, I got it, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna wear it for you because
it's beautiful.
yeah,
I love
I
it.
love it. Well,
thank you.
actually, so you're making me think of another question is like all the pieces that Wafat shared with us are like on their own. We don't really see them super finished, but do you do like a thwab? Is that part of your collection of Tatreez?
I didn't. My mom always encouraged me to do this part,
Yeah.
but no, I didn't. It's like
Yeah.
to me, it's I'm doing pieces. They can use it for tablecloth or cushions or a
Yeah.
lot of wall hanging. But I was telling Wafa, I was like, you know what, maybe I should start with your wedding dress. And she was laughing
Yeah.
at me. But
Yeah.
it's like,
Why
I didn't
not?
have yet a growth. I did. When you find one, you already have that. And she was laughing at me.
You and my mom are definitely related. For sure.
Yeah, I think all Palestinians won't think about it. Yeah.
I think that maybe you and Wafat should do a mother-daughter Thob project, and I think we
Yeah.
have somebody that can
Yes.
help with that.
I'm
Yes,
sure.
yes.
For sure, I'm gonna go back to Lena for that because
I'm here.
she's
I'm ready.
amazing for the steps she done. Yeah,
I'm so
Yeah,
ready. I mean,
I'm
'cause you
starting
make
my
the
journey with her.
designs.
So
that's great. That's very nice.
Yeah, I mean, you have like the hardest part done. You're able to just design and just go for it. That's like the hardest part. I know. And it's interesting because, when we were talking earlier about, designing before you stitch or like stitching and then the design happens as you stitch it. I mean, even for something that large like a thobe, I did design before I stitched, but I only designed one piece at a time because
Yeah.
you can't design the whole thing and then do it because I don't know, like you change your mind, you get inspired by other things. It takes a long time.
It is. It
So
is.
I feel like your approach would be really suitable for a thobe when you guys are ready to start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should start to think about it seriously. Maybe when we get the right fabric for it. So
Yeah,
then we'll
exactly.
gonna connect with you, Lina.
Definitely. Akid. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm here for that. I love
Thank
it.
you. Thank you.
That'll be a little competition you can also have with your sisters.
I will let her know for sure. Yeah.
So, okay, one thing I wanted to chat about too, and you mentioned it a little earlier as you were talking about you and your family's connection to Palestine. So you have had experiences throughout the diaspora, throughout the Arab world. Now you're here in Canada, and you've also said how Tatreez has helped you connect with the homeland. So I'd love to hear about your personal experience throughout the diaspora and how that has shaped your relationship with Tatreez and in turn shaped your relationship with Palestine.
Well, diaspora, it's the most hardest thing that a human can face. And I was always telling my kids, we're like birds without nest. We can't, we can go back anywhere. And I'm happy for my kids because now they feel they're Canadian Palestinian. However, we don't have these feelings. I love the place, but I was grown and raised in the Arab world, which we always have this to remind us always, you don't belong anywhere because you're Palestinian. So we never had this connection, although we have memory wherever we go. And so we stayed connected with Palestine. We stayed connected with this dream to go back. We're not sure when or how or will be able to in our lifetime, but that's the dream we lived in. Was connecting to have with the political events what happened made us more and more connected to know more. I was good to read the history to understand what happened exactly, where we went, what went wrong, and how can we correct that. And I see hopes better for younger generation like you, but it wasn't easy and never been easy till today. Actually, the more I grow up, I feel I would like to go back, but I don't know where to go. And that's the hardest. Tatreez helped me to find to find Palestine, to know better about Palestine, to understand people, to understand that what means Tatreez and happiness and through the weddings or events, or sometimes with sads and what kind of colors they use when they lost people, or what kind of colors they use when they're going to get married. So there is different in those for every event. So you can tell from the top when the lady wear it, if she's from a high class or she's a worker class, if she's widowed or she's married or if she's single. So there is amazing story of the Tatri, of the Tob itself, without telling you herself what's her story. So, and that was amazing of our clothes, that the more we learn about it, the more we read about it, you can understand the history of the people as well.
Yeah. How has your Tatreez practice evolved? So, like, do you remember how it felt to do Tatreez in Kuwait versus Jordan versus Canada? Like, has that shifted over time?
Yes, and Well, in Kuwait was the first steps to start and the beginning to understand what kind of cross stitch means and what can I do. Uh, in Jordan, I did many things. I did first the modern style, it's just flowers, and the Western style even. I have many books of those. I did cushions, I did a big portraits of flowers, and that's how it started. It was a learning phase, but when I moved more, and I did many small pieces in Jordan when I was there. I left them till today at my parents' home, as I mentioned. But when I moved to Canada, I felt like I missed home, and I wanna show this for my kids. Then I start to, and that's the difference. It's like my sister, she does Tatreez amazingly, but she does the small pieces and big pieces, different variety. I just found myself, I'm doing just big pieces. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's, to me, it's like telling a story. It's like, for example, the one I'm working on now, I started during the Christmas time, and I found, okay, I want to start with these trees because it shows that's in Bethlehem how it looks like. Then it's developed with me. It's like it's not just that part. It has to come up with the spring as well, and it comes that I'm gonna end it up with a lot of flowers in the middle and green that comes with it. So it's like a theme of starting from Christmas, ending on the Easter. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
Because
it seems like it comes so naturally too. Like
yes,
the theme,
yes,
the story
yeah,
just flows. I love that.
yes,
Sorry, Lena, I cut you off.
no, it's just so beautiful because that ties into specifically like how you're practicing Tatreez in that moment. It's because time was changed, like the times were changing, your surroundings were changing. That's so beautiful.
yes, yeah. So it's amazing how you, the more you do Tatreez, the more you will feel how you want to express yourself.
Yeah.
With even events happening in your life and how you want to apply it on data trees itself, um, it tells you, you will remember each piece, what it means for you and what the story was connected with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can. And it's funny because you were saying that you pretty much only work on big pieces, and I'm kind of similar to that. I like to get lost in my projects. I'm also a very slow stitcher, so it takes me a lot longer to finish things, but I don't mind it
Yeah.
because like I get lost in it and I'm like deep into it. And I'm curious for you, like as you were talking about like doing these large pieces that clearly take a while to do, and since you don't plan out your patterns, when you look at your fabric, are
Yeah.
you like envisioning this full design, or is it like evolving as you stitch?
It gives me the first vision, how I want
Yeah.
it to be, what color I want to have on
Yeah.
it. And most of it, yes, I'm inspired for it. Maybe during it, I would add one or two lines that, oh, that's inspired me, especially when I'm going to the end of it. It's like I want to finish it, how I want to look at. But at the beginning, no, when I look to the fabric, it's like that's how exactly I want it to be. How I want to finish it, that will be in the process while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
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 That
No,
makes sense.
yeah. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm here.
And so what's your routine like? Like do you typically stitch during the day, during the nights? Are there like certain events or things that inspire you to pick it up and get started, or it's just like anytime?
Well, I used to stitch anytime. Now with I'm getting old and my vision, it's not helping that much. So definitely not during the night. I prefer it during the day. And most of my weekends, I start the morning with at least hour or two Tatreez till
Oh
today.
wow, that's so
That's with
nice.
my coffee. I put that. I do my Tatreez, then I start the other things to do. If I don't, Now, I used to do during even the weekdays. Now I'm working, so it's very hard. But with the weekend, if I don't, I feel there is something I'm missing,
Yeah.
and I'm not satisfied. And yes, some pieces can take a few months or a few weeks, for example, and some pieces can take years. With, for example, the Palestinian wedding. Now I
Yeah.
remember it. Yeah. So
So
yeah.
it's interesting because you said earlier, I think at the very beginning you talked about how Tatreez can be very therapeutic, which we very much agree with. We've talked about so much, and we relate to it. And it seems like you're saying like it's a part of your routine where almost like if you don't do it, you don't feel right. Like it
Yeah.
almost kind of stabilizes you in a way.
Yeah.
I'm curious too, like do you find yourself going to Tatreez more when you're very like for example like now, right? I think all of us, all Palestinians, and I know you mentioned that your husband's family is from Gaza, so I'm sure it's also amplified for your family where we're none of us are okay right now. We're
Yeah.
all feeling very hopeless and a lot of grief. And I'm curious, like, do you find yourself turning to Tatreez more in those times of grief, or is it more like in those times of grief you need to step away? Like,
No,
how does it work to
100%.
heal?
No, it's part, as I mentioned, Tatreez helped me to be connected with Palestine. So yes, I do spend time. I'm already now planning for my next piece and how it's gonna be. And it's like I'm gonna do a lot. And I didn't do the olive tree. So now I have a plan for that and what I wanna do exactly on the next piece. But I promised myself I'm not going to move to this project before I finish this because when I move, I won't finish the other one.
Yeah, we
So
understand that.
yeah, but yeah, yes. So, but definitely with the hard times, you feel yourself more connected, and as I mentioned, it's help for keeping it the identity and kind of resistance that you have your identity. That's and I keep telling my daughter what you see. I what I heard from my mom and my grandma, I was telling it for my daughter. And one day she will move it to tell her daughter. And it will never die since people talking and living it and doing what they're doing to keep this identity. And
Yeah.
that's what the most important for us as a Palestinian.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel that very hard too. Like obviously born and raised in the diaspora in the US, but my mom was also born and raised in the diaspora in Brazil. So I am further away from the homeland than, other peers of my generation. And I always had this fear of like, if I in the diaspora cease to be Palestinian, then Palestine ceases to exist. I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, especially those of us in the diaspora. We put a lot of pressure on ourselves to maintain that identity, but I think it's important. And I love that, you're talking about this. Like, you started Tatreez with your sisters. It was very much a family thing, and now it's something that your daughter is interested in. And Lena and I both talked to her, and we know she definitely has a passion for it, and it's clear that it came from you. And again, her being in the diaspora, her being Canadian Palestinian, and being further removed, there is this still very strong
Yeah.
connection through our art, which like it's amazing to see it
Well,
being.
I'm so inspired with you as well. Yeah, look at you. I mean, you were born in US and your mom in Brazil, and you're still yet doing this broadcast about Tatreez, and that's amazing. That's what it tells, that you keep your identity, and that's what it matters. No matter what, where we are physically, our mind, our heart there. And that's the most connected that we need to keep till one day that's going to happen to actual life and you will see it. I was happy to take my kids there, and I was always promising them that you have to see what I mean when you go.
Yeah.
And yes, they felt it Wafa, I think she started to be connected when we went to this trip, and it was just one trip. We didn't have chance to go more often. Like myself, I was lucky to go many years to go and spend time there. At least for a month every year was a good for my childhood to remember and keep this memory. For her, just once, but she still yet connected very well. And I
Yeah.
keep telling her the stories that I know from my mom and for what I lived there when I was used to go during the summer. Uh, yeah, I kept telling everyone, you should go, you should see and feel yourself
Yeah.
what it means Palestine to you.
Yeah, I keep telling Amani because I had the same experience, and it's interesting. I went on a trip in 2011, and it was a very good trip in that they exposed us to various parts of Palestine. It wasn't just like me visiting my family. It was getting exposed to the Bank of Palestine, to the refugee camps, to Haifa, to Jerusalem. Like we went all over the place, and in a very short amount of time, but we were able to cover a lot. And I only spent like a couple nights with family, and I feel like that was barely a drop in the bucket. It just was not enough time at all. But as soon as we got through the Jisr, I like literally I felt it. And I'm half Palestinian, born and raised in the US and the Khalij, like never went to Falasteen before this moment. And I'm sorry, I did go, but I don't really remember. And I felt something. There was something like in my heart that woke up, and it's so crazy because it's different than being in Jordan, even though you're surrounded by Palestinians. It's very different. And I keep telling Amani because I think there's a lot of and I know a lot of people in my personal life as well who have like similar feelings of like, no, it's not the right time. Like, I don't want to go until Palestine is free. I don't want to know. I
No,
don't want to see Palestine when it's not liberated. And I keep trying to encourage them, like, no, you have to. This is how you maintain that connection. This is how you
Yeah.
continue to tell. Because even if you go to an occupied Palestine, you're engaging with Palestinians who are experiencing Palestine day to day, and you're getting exposed. And there's no perfect time. Like, you just have to find the right whenever you have the ability, you should just do it.
exactly. No,
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. That's how we felt. Actually, it's amazing how people there in Jerusalem, even in the north or in the West Bank, every moment that we were telling them, oh, from outside, but we need help, they're gladly to help without
Yes.
looking for
Yes.
anything, and they want to tell you their story.
Yes.
And one of the nice stories that a nice old man, he was our taxi driver taking us around, and he went back after he retired to finish his Master of History. Imagine, he's from Jerusalem, and he was telling us that we're here. This land saw a lot of people coming and going, but the original people stayed. And I found that, you know what, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And they truly believe in that. Deep inside them, they believe in that. They have a different connections than us.
Yes.
That's the ones outside. And it's beautiful to see it and
Yes.
to feel it.
Yes. That's so spot on. Exactly. I love
Yeah.
that.
Oh, I know. I'm like, you guys are like, I'm like tearing up. But I know for me, every time in the past that I was supposed to go, fighting broke out. Like literally the last time I was supposed to go, we were ready to cross the Jisr in like the next day, and that same day fighting broke out in like our family, like literally right by our family's village too, because it's by a settlement. So it didn't happen, but Lena and I are taking a little trip this summer, so we're
I
we're
hope
trying to
so. I
figure
hope we
out.
will do it. Yes.
Inshallah.
Inshallah,
Inshallah.
inshallah.
We made sure honestly to stay in Jerusalem, and luckily that we were able because we don't have the Palestinian
Yeah.
Yeah.
identity. So we stayed in a hotel called Jerusalem Hotel. It's for a Palestinian
I've seen it. It's
family. They live
beautiful.
there,
Yeah.
and that was their family home. They turned it to be a hotel. Beautiful. You feel you're like your grandpa home. It's
Yeah.
so cozy. They're very sweet. Actually, you should see their hotel. They just renovated, and I'm so connected because I really felt it's like a family home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and we were lucky to stay there. And I didn't want to stay in the West Bank. I want to be in a middle area that to be able to move,
Yeah.
really for with the kids and be able to show them more. And we were able actually. We moved as much as we can everywhere. Yeah,
Alhamdulillah.
except
That's
Gaza.
beautiful.
We couldn't go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe Lena, we might have a hotel to book.
I'm telling you, Amani, I'm
Yeah,
ready.
yeah.
I'm
Check
ready.
this hotel. You're gonna love it. Actually, it's a
Yeah.
very nice one. Yeah.
I love the idea that like it used to be their family home. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you're not in some like cold, modern,
No,
sterile
no. It's
hotel. You're
far
like in a home.
from that. It's a very old house, and they turned it to be a hotel. They just renovated it because I followed them on Facebook after we stayed there, and we really like it. And they're exactly across from the Damascus Gate, so
Yeah.
they're in the middle of Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Which is
I'm pretty sure I follow them on Facebook too, because I think a friend stayed there like a few years ago. If it's the
Yeah.
same place, I have to look. But okay. All right, Lena, we have some conversations to have later.
We will discuss. We will discuss for sure. For sure. So,
Definitely.
Lama, one more question for you. Well, actually, two more questions for you. The first one is I'm curious about like, is your sister nearby in Canada or is she in the Middle East? Like, do you guys
No,
practice
she's
together?
in Toronto.
Oh,
I
okay.
live in Ottawa. She lives in Toronto. Yes.
Okay.
And yes, she has still amazing pieces. Actually, she stopped for a years not doing it. Then she got again inspired because she saw me. I'm doing pieces
Yeah.
still and I'm working on it. So she was in the process to do a beautiful pink piece, even fabric, and she started to work on it. I was like, "What it comes for you, the pink?" She said, "I don't know. I have the piece," and it's like I like it. And we like colors. We like to make something different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that
Something-
about your work.
Yeah,
It's so beautifully vibrant.
Thank you. And to give more details, it's like to me when I looked at the piece, and Wafa, she sees that on me a lot of times. Sometimes she look at a piece and she said, "This is beautiful," and I look at it. I was like, "No, it's so," because I look to the details. I look to how the finishing could be, and I know that's okay. This is good, and I really appreciate that the really passion work on the details. And I think my sister's same because she does. I think she has a lot of even. I don't want to talk on her behalf. She can't talk one day with you, but she in her Tatreez she put a lot of stories of her life even on the Tatreez. Yeah,
I love that.
So nice.
We're definitely related. I'm the same way as you.
that's great actually. So,
So, okay, last question that we do have for you. We always ask people, what is like a major life lesson or life lessons that you have learned from Tatreez?
patient, patient for sure, and to keep focus on your things. I think Tatreez is like our life. The beautiful piece, the more you give time and passion, you will see it.
Yeah.
And that applies in your life, for sure. The more you work hard on yourself in many things, you will see it. So for sure, Tatreez, it's meaningful to me. I never stopped, although my mom, for her last few years, she was keep telling me, maybe you should stop your eyes, your neck. And I was like, no, till I can't, I can't.
Yeah.
But till this moment, I want to keep doing as much as I can pieces. Maybe now, because I know in a few years, I'm worried to be not able. So I was like, I'm rushing to finish as much pieces as I want. Whatever in my mind, I want to finish them and leave them for my kids. It's like, this is who we are. This is
Yeah.
what you need to know and learn.
That's
Your
beautiful.
passion comes through with like the way you talk about your work and Palestine and your connection to all of it. Your
Yeah.
passion definitely comes through. And it comes through in your work too. Like I said, I love the vibrant colors that you use. I feel like it already, like before even meeting you, just seeing the pictures of your work before, I got a sense, I was like, I got a sense of your energy literally from your work. So,
Thank you.
I can't wait to see the piece that you're currently working on. I can't wait to see that finished.
Yeah, for sure. I will send you a picture the one I finish, and I'll finish the Palestinian wedding soon after, and I
Yes.
think that will complete our culture.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, no. And then you begin your thob, the thob
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
there you
Wafat.
go.
I
It
will.
never ends. The problem is
It
there's
never
so
ends.
many
It will never
projects.
end. No. But
It ends
I
for
want
like a
to,
second.
for sure. No, for sure. You're absolutely right. I still have many in my mind. Actually, I was designing it. Yeah.
Well,
I'm sure.
inshallah, many, many more years of stitching and
Thank you.
Inshallah.
beautiful work to
Thank
come
you.
from
And thank
you.
you for your meeting with me. Give me this
Yes.
opportunity to talk about Palestine, to talk about culture. I hope one day we all add something to our
Inshallah.
cause. And yeah, Asmallah alaikum, beautiful girls.
You're so
It's beautiful
sweet.
to see Palestinians, young ladies doing as much lovely work as you. That's what I.
Thank you.
The
Thank
pleasure
you.
was all
We're
ours.
humbled. Yeah.
Yeah, thank
We
you
are
so much for
humbled
the
and thank
time.
you. Yeah. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right. So I tried to keep it together, but as we know,
As we know.
honestly, I was she was teary eyed. A little tear might have fallen here or there, but Wallah, like her passion comes
No.
through so heavily, and I felt it. Like I felt it when so her daughter Wafat sent us pictures of her work in advance, and I saw it, and I was like, oh, okay, yes, I'm obsessed, and I felt like I said with to her, like I felt her energy from it. Like I was like, ooh, this is just there's good energy, there's vibrant energy, and then talking to her and feeling her passion. I loved every minute of it, and I pressure is on with that. Now you
It's
we're calling
recorded.
you out, girl, but your mom is a Tatreez goddess, and
Yes.
you are clearly one in training. So let's go, girl. We're ready for your work.
Am I really putting her on the spot? I love
That's what I
it.
do.
No, and you know what else about I just like enjoyed listening to her because she's so calm and like soft, and
Yeah.
I just feel like I'm comforted listening to her describe the stories, and yeah, like the passion comes through, but it's not like our kind of passion. Like
I
our kind of
know.
passion is a little bit in your
know.
face.
Look, I'm a PR girly. Like I started in PR. It comes through. PR Manny.
No,
I
her
can't help
passion
it.
is so nice. It's so yeah, it's like it's the goddess thing is really good. It's heavenly. It's very like peaceful, and
Yeah.
Amani, it's time to book that trip to Palestine.
I
Like
know,
all
I
I
know.
could as she was describing it, all I could think about was like, oh my God, Tatreez retreat in Palestine. Like we have to make that happen.
I know. I know.
Inshallah.
But girl,
we'll
watch.
work on it.
We're gonna roll up to the Jisd, and they're gonna Google us, and they're gonna look at us like, "Girl, take your
That doesn't
behind
matter.
back
That
to
doesn't
Amman."
matter. We gotta try. We gotta try.
We will try. We will try,
Inshallah,
inshallah.
inshallah.
And as I say, God's working on all of us. So I ask God to keep me patient at the Jisd.
God help me be patient with you at the Jisd if we go together.
All right, we're gonna have to work on that. But now going back to our conversation, one of the things that Lama said that I like totally like, I felt it deep because she was talking about how with the big piece, the Palestinian wedding piece she's doing, she has like different bits of Palestine to kind of create this like one Palestine, and I love that because I feel like there are times like, when I design things, there are some times where I am drawn to maybe, like, for example, I have a motif that I designed a while ago. It's a Gaza motif. And one of my best friends is from Gaza. I'm actually like best friends with him and like his sister, like the whole family, like that's fam.
Yeah.
And they're from Gaza. And, you know, I remember for so long, they're like them telling me about Gaza and the water and the beach and all the beauty of Gaza. And as we know, I'm a beach girly. I live by the beach. I'm very drawn to the water. And I had designed this piece that's all Gaza motifs. And it's like, you know, it's telling the story of like, the waves to the land to the mountains and all that, but that's like a very specific kind of design. Normally I actually do tend to like to design my stuff the same way that she does, where I'm taking different parts, different motifs from all areas, and it's just like kind of telling this one combined story. And as we kind of referenced when we were talking to her, it's very obviously like, you know, post 48 kind of style of creating designs. But there was something about that I really resonated with, because I think throughout the whole conversation with her, she continues to harp on this connection to Palestine and, you know, the love for Palestine. And I think being able to design something where you're taking all different parts of Palestine and not being region specific, if you will, I like that, the sense of that unity and that like free flowingness of it. I don't know. That was just something that like, as she was talking, I was like, yes, I feel that. I guess I never really thought about it too deeply when I do the designs, but hearing her say that helped me kind of reflect on that a little bit.
Yeah, no, I know, it's so beautiful. I love her design approach. It's just like, again, it comes straight from the heart. It's straight passion, and it's this direct link to connect her to Falasteen even when she's not physically there. And there's just, yeah, you know, as we always say, Tatreez is just magic across the spectrum. I 100% agree.
Yeah, no, it was great. And I want to talk to her sister. I really want to, you know what, okay, not to go too long because I know we gotta wrap up, but I will say one of the other things that was interesting to hear her say, because she grew up in the diaspora within the Arab world and now lives and has lived in the diaspora in the non-Arab world, it was so interesting. And it's not like we haven't heard this from people we know, but like it was really interesting to hear what she was saying about like living in the Arab world as a Palestinian, you don't belong, and you know that you don't belong. You don't belong anywhere.
Yeah.
And as opposed to her children who are Canadian Palestinian, where they still are, they're Palestinian and they feel that and they know that and that's who they are through and through, but they also have this like safe space of also being able to be Canadian, and you know, we have that to be able to say like, oh, we're American. And I think that's something that we very much take for granted when you are in the diaspora in the non-Arab world. Like, you know, we have our own issues and no one's saying it's perfect, but
yeah,
I don't know, it's something about that feeling amongst your quote unquote own people hits different, you know?
Oh, 100%. And I think it's interesting that because this, like what you're describing is literally what my parents tell me too. They're like, you are, like, at the end of the day, you are American. You have the freedom to say whatever you want. You're able to do certain things that a lot of Palestinians in the Middle East can't do because they're not, you know, they don't have the citizenship of those countries. And it's 100% true. It's like something to remember. I mean, I think we are, it's not spoiled. Okay. It's not spoiled at all, but it's like we are,
it's a type of privilege.
It's a type of privilege, exactly. And it's, I think it is also our duty to, like, I think the reverse of that, and something that I tell my parents, like, tell them back to it, is like, okay, yeah, if we have the freedom to say all these things here, then we have a duty to challenge everything that's happening here as well. And so that's, it's just like striking that balance of like being aware and being grateful, but also knowing that there is more that you can do, especially when our people are occupied or under assault, or et cetera, et cetera. And I think this was just like a nice little reminder on the grateful side of things.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you again so much for listening to Tatreez Talk. We want to hear about your Tatreez journey. So share your stories with us. You can reach us at tatreeztalk@gmail.com, and we might just have you on an upcoming episode. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite listening platform, and make sure you leave us a 5-star review. You can follow me at Lina Stob and Amani at Minamani, and make sure to follow the pod at Tatreez Talk on Instagram. And until next time, guys, keep stitching.